Hi there, it's time for day 48 of our Through the Bible in 1 Year. We're still in Leviticus 14 and 15 today. And we're going to find out about purification after having skin diseases and mildews in houses and unclean bodily discharges. Doesn't that sound like fun? And it's long too. So let's get to it. Okay, let's get a little smaller here. There we go. Okay. Purification after having skin diseases. The Lord gave Moses the following regulations about the ritual purification of those of you cured of a dreaded skin disease. Dreaded skin disease. On the day you are to be pronounced clean, you shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall take you outside the camp and examine you. If the disease is healed, the priest shall order that 2 ritually clean birds be brought along with a piece of cedar wood, a red cord, and a sprig of hyssop. Then the priest shall order that one of the birds be killed over a clay bowl containing fresh spring water. He shall take the other bird and dip it together with the cedar wood, the red cord, and the hyssop in the blood of the bird that was killed. He shall sprinkle the blood 7 times on the one of you who is to be purified from your skin disease, and then he shall pronounce you clean. He shall let the live bird fly away over the open fields. Well, that's nice. You shall wash your clothes, shave off all your hair, and take a bath. You will then be ritually clean. You may enter the camp, but you must live outside your tent for 7 days. Wow. On the 7th day, you shall again shave your head, your beard, your eyebrows, and the rest of the hair on your body. You shall wash your clothes and take a bath, and then you will be ritually clean. Wow. On the 8th day, you shall bring 2 male lambs and 1 female lamb, a year old, that are without any defects, 5 pounds of flour mixed with olive oil, and half a pint of olive oil. Man, that's a lot of groceries, huh? The priest shall take you and these offerings to the entrance of the tent of the Lord's presence. Then the priest shall take one of the male lambs together with a half a pint of oil, and he shall offer it as a repayment offering. He shall present them as a special gift to the Lord for the priest. He shall kill the lamb in the holy place where the animals for sin offerings and the burnt offerings are killed. He must do this because of the repayment offering, like the sin offering, belongs to the priest and is very holy. The priest shall take some of the blood of the lamb and put it on the lobe of the right ear, on the thumb, and on the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot of one of you to be declared ritually clean. Wow. The priest shall take some of the olive oil and pour it in the palm of his own left hand. Dip a finger in with its right hand and sprinkle some of it 7 times there in the Lord's presence. He shall take some of the oil that is in the palm of his hand and some of the blood of the lamb and put it on the lobe of the right ear, on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe and the right foot of the one of you to be declared to be ritually clean. He shall put the rest of the oil that is in the palm of his hand on your head. In this way he shall perform the ritual purification. Wow. They had to memorize all this stuff. Then the priest shall offer the sin offering and perform the ritual purification. After that he shall kill the animal for the burnt offering and offer it with the grain offering on the altar. In this way the priest shall perform the ritual of purification, and you will be ritually clean. So you have to be spiritually clean and ritually clean. If you are poor and cannot afford any more, you shall bring for your purification only 1 male lamb as your repayment offering, a special gift to the Lord for the priest. You shall bring only 2 pounds of flour mixed with olive oil for a grain offering, and a half a pint of olive oil. You shall also bring 2 doves or 2 pigeons, 1 for the sin offering and 1 for the burnt offering. On the 8th day of your purification you shall bring them to the priest at the entrance of the tent. The priest shall take the lamb and the olive oil and present them as a special gift to the Lord for the priest. He shall kill the lamb and take some of the blood and put it on the lobe of the right ear, on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot. The priest shall pour some of the oil onto the palm of his own left hand, and same thing, and with the finger of his right hand sprinkles some of it 7 times there in the Lord's presence. He shall put some of the oil in the same places he put the blood, on the lobe of the right ear, the thumb of the right hand, and the big toe of the right foot. The rest of the oil that is in the palm of his hand shall be put on your head, and in this way perform the ritual of purification. Then he shall offer 1 of the doves or pigeons, as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering with the grain offering. In this way, the priest shall perform the ritual purification. This is the law for those who have dreaded skin disease, but who cannot afford the normal offerings required for his purification. Okay, wow. That's a lot, huh? Okay, mildew in houses. Then the Lord gave Moses and Aaron the following regulations about houses affected by spreading mildew. These were to apply after the people of Israel entered the land of Canaan, which the Lord was going to give them as their possession. If any of you find that the Lord has sent mildew on your house, the Lord sent mildew, then you must go and tell the priest about it. The priest shall order everything to be moved out of the house before he goes to examine the mildew. Otherwise, everything in the house will be declared unclean. Then he shall go to the house and examine the mildew. If there are greenish or reddish spots that appear to be eating into the wall, he shall leave the house and lock it up for 7 days. On the 7th day he shall return and examine it again. If the mildew has spread, he shall order that the stones on which the mildew is found to be removed and thrown into some unclean place outside the city. After that he must have all the interior walls scraped and the plaster dumped in an unclean place outside the city. Then other stones are to be used to replace the stones that were removed, and new plaster will be used to cover the walls. See, they didn't live in tents. They live in the houses. If the mildew breaks out again in the house after the stones have been removed and the house has been scraped and plastered, the priest shall go and look. If it has spread, the house is unclean, and it must be torn down, and its stones, its wood, and all its plaster be carried out of the city to an unclean place. Any who enter the house while it is locked up will be unclean until evening. Any who lie down or eat in the house must wash their clothes. If, when the priest comes to look, the mildew has not appeared after the house has been replastered, he shall pronounce the house ritually clean, because the mildew has been completely removed. To purify the house, he shall take 2 birds, some cedar wood, a red cord, and a spring of hyssop. Same thing again. He shall kill one of the birds over a clay bowl containing fresh spring water. He shall then take the cedar wood, the hyssop, the red cord, and the live bird, and dip them into the blood of the bird that was killed and in the fresh water. And he shall sprinkle the house 7 times. In this way he shall purify the house with the bird's blood, the fresh water, the live bird, the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the red cord. Then he shall let the live bird fly away outside the city over the open fields. In this way he shall perform the ritual of purification for the house, and it will be ritually clean. Well, these are the laws about dreaded skin diseases, sores, boils, inflammations, and about mildew in clothes or houses. These laws determine when something is unclean and when it is clean. Got all that? There will be a test. No, not really. Unclean bodily discharges. Now, I'm not looking forward to reading this. The Lord gave Aaron and Moses the following regulations for people of Israel. When any man has a discharge from his penis, the discharge is unclean, whether the penis runs or with it or is stopped up by it. Wow, that sounds painful. Any bed on which he sits or lies is unclean. Anyone who touches his bed or sits on anything the man has sat on him must wash his clothes and take a bath, and he remains unclean until evening. Anyone who touches the man with the discharge must wash his clothes and take a bath, and he remains unclean until evening. If the man with the discharge spits on anyone who is ritually clean, why would you do that? That person must wash his clothes and take a bath, and he remains unclean until evening. Any saddle or seat in which the man has with the discharge sits is unclean. Anyone who touches anything on which the man sat is unclean and is unclean until evening. Anyone who carries anything on which the man sat must wash his clothes and take a bath, and he remains unclean until evening. If a man who has a discharge touches one of you without first having washed his hands, you must wash your clothes and take a bath, and you remain unclean until evening. Any clay pot that the man touches must be broken, and any wooden bowl that he touches must be washed. Wow. If the man is cured of his discharge, he must wait 7 days, and then wash his clothes and take a bath in fresh spring water. He will then be ritually clean. On the 8th day he shall take 2 doves and 2 pigeons to the entrance of the tent of the Lord's presence. The priest shall offer one of them as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering. In this way he will perform the ritual of the purification of the man. I don't want to read this. When a man has an emission of semen, he must bathe his whole body, and he remains unclean until evening. Anything made of cloth or leather on which the semen falls must be washed. and it remains unclean until evening. After sexual intercourse, both the man and the woman must take a bath, and they must remain unclean until evening. Only take showers now, right? When a woman has her monthly period, she remains unclean for 7 days. Anyone who touches her is unclean until evening. Anything on which she sits or lies during her monthly period is unclean. Any who touch her bed or anything on which she has sat must wash their clothes and take a bath, and they remain unclean until evening. If a man has sexual intercourse with her during her period, he is contaminated by her impurity and remains unclean for 7 days, and any bed on which he lies is unclean. If a woman has a flow of blood for several days outside her monthly period, or if her flow continues beyond her regular period, she remains unclean as long as the flow continues, just as she is during her monthly period. Any bed on which she lies and anything on which she sits during the time is unclean. Any who touch them are unclean and must wash their clothes and take a bath. They remain unclean until evening. After her flow stops, she must wait 7 days, and then she will be ritually clean. On the 8th day, she shall take 2 doves, 2 pigeons, to the priest at the entrance of the tent of the Lord's presence. The priest shall offer one of them as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering, and in this way he will perform the ritual of purification for her. The Lord told Moses to warn the people of Israel about their uncleanness, so that they would not defile the tent of his presence, which was in the middle of the camp. If they did, they would be killed. Wow. If you're unclean, stay away from the tent. These are the regulations about a man who has a discharge or an emission of semen, a woman during her monthly period, or a man who has sexual intercourse with a woman who is ritually unclean. Wow. I'm kind of glad that's over. That was kind of disturbing to read that, huh? I mean, I suppose it has to be put in writing for the people to know what's going on, but, well, so that's today. What's going on tomorrow? We always like to look ahead. The Day of Atonement. The scapegoat. You heard about the scapegoat? That's an interesting story. Observing the Day of Atonement, sacredness of blood, forbidden sexual practices. Now, that'll be interesting, huh? So, that's today. That's what's going on tomorrow. So, there you have it. That is... trying to get my back up here. Yeah. That is Through the Bible in 1 Year for today, day 47, February 17th. We'll keep doing this. Catch up on any you might have missed. Give us a like if you think about it. But until next time, keep reading.